saya akan buat sedikit revision berkenaan dengan bab 4. Okay, so let me go through a little bit about chapter number 4. If you have anything to ask me, then you can of course ask me, or you can write your question in chat box. I hope all of you have looked at my video, my last 2 videos. About the first law of thermodynamics for control volume. In our previous session as well, we have 2 questions related with control volume. So as I said in the tutorial session, have a lot of equations for control volume compared to open closed system. In closed system, they have only 2 or 3 equations, but in for control volume, they have 5 to 6 equations, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And for open system as well, they have more than 5 devices that we have learned. So the devices are categorized into two types. The first type is single inlet and single outlet. Second category is multiple inlets or outlets. Okay, I will go through one by one. Okay, how does energy cross a system boundary for open system? Yes, of course, heat and work can be transferred in and out of the system, same as closed system. But for open system, they have another one, another energy that can be transferred in and out, which is m dot, mass flow rate. Okay, or mass, we can say mass can be transferred in and out since they have inlet and outlet for open system. Okay, this is the meaning for open system, or we can say control volumes system. Before we analyze the devices, we need to understand the conservation of mass principle. Okay, we need to understand very well how the mass is conserved while entering and leaving the system. Okay, basically in the mass conservation system, they have an equation which is mass flow rate. M dot equal to rho VA. Rho is density, V is velocity, and A is cross sectional of the inlet or outlet. Okay, and of course the unit is kilojoule, kilogram per second. Any properties named as a rate, then the unit must be per unit time. Okay, any properties named as rate, the unit must be per unit time. For example, mass flow rate. They have term of rate. Then the unit must be per unit time, kilojoule per second. And then they have another equation which is average velocity. Of course, this is related with the conservation of mass principle. We have to know the average velocity. The equation is V average equal to 1 over A times VA. Okay. Or volume flow rate, V dot equal to VAC. V is velocity. Okay, AC is a cross-sectional area, m square. V is velocity, okay, meter per second. And then in this conservation of mass principle, they have another equation, which is mass and volume flow rate relationship, or mass and volume flow rate equation. The relationship between mass and volume, mass flow rate and volume flow rate. So from both equations, we can have one relationship, which is m dot equal to rho v dot, or m dot equal to v dot over a specific volume. And the unit is kilojoule per second. So if you have any, if you are given any problem or question, so please read the question, the problem properly, and if you are asking to find, for example, specific volume, even you can look at the table, you can as well use this equation as well. But you must know which one is relevant. The way we use the equation is based on our experience. Kalau kamu banyak buat latihan, for example, do the tutorials and get other problems from the books. Okay, kamu kan ada di campus, right? You are in a campus, so you can go to library, find some reference books related with thermodynamics, then do more exercises, then you know which equations are relevant to be used or apply in order to solve any problems. Semua ni bergantung kepada experience dan juga latihan kamu. I cannot say this equation is relevant in order to find a specific volume, sebab from this equation we know that they have a specific volume there, right? M dot equal to V dot over small v. Saya tak boleh katakan boleh gunakan equation ni. Mungkin tak sesuai, kita kena gunakan table untuk dapatkan specific volume, ataupun maybe it is not suitable to use the table. Instead of table, we need to apply this equation to find specific volume. So semuanya bergantung pada latihan yang kamu lakukan lah. So this is my advice. Please, you have plenty of time now. Because your final examination is on next month, January. I think at the end of third week of January maybe, or the last week of January. So you have plenty of time. Can go to library, find some reference books, and try answer the problem. Any problem related with open system or any topics. Okay, itu nasihat saya. And then they have two main processes for control volume: steady flow process and unsteady flow. But basically in our level thermodynamics, we assume that all of the processes for occur in control volume is in steady flow, okay, not unsteady. Unsteady is not in our level, but in advanced thermodynamics ataupun dalam our real life, itu ada unsteady. So if you go for work in future, then you will see unsteady flow process. Okay, but for our level, because we are still in a basic knowledge of thermodynamics, so we assume that all of the processes for control volume is in steady flow process. Sebab steady flow ni dia lebih it's very simple to analyze. Once we know how to analyze steady flow, then we will know how to uh, to study on unsteady flow. Sebab steady flow is very simple, basic for thermodynamics. Okay. Still in conservation of mass principle. So here m dot equal to m dot in equal to m dot out. This is for the case of single inlet and single outlet. If you have more than if you have multiple inlet or outlets, then we need to apply the last equations there. You can see in your screen, sigma in m dot equal to sigma out m dot. Okay. Here this one, mass balance ataupun conservation. Tadi conservation of energy principle, but now is mass balance equation. It's very same actually. Principle is the knowledge about conservation of mass, but now this is the equation. From the knowledge of mass principle, mass conservation of mass, we know that the difference is equal to zero. Yang ini lah, this one is equal to zero. From the knowledge here, we know that dmcv over dt is equal to zero. So therefore, the equation of conservation of mass, or we can say mass balance equation, become as this one. Sigma in m dot equal to sigma out m dot. Kalau kamu ada dua inlet seperti ini dan satu outlet seperti ini, then here you need to put m1 tambah plus m2, m dot 1 plus m dot 2 for the left side. And for the right side, since we have only single outlet, then here we just write m dot 3. Okay, this is how we use this sigma. Kalau di outlet they have two outlets, multiple outlets, then at the left side, at the right side here, we need to write m dot 3 plus m dot 4. Itu saja, simple. Okay, that is the meaning of sigma. Sigma ni adalah kumpulan lah, terkumpul. Kita mengumpulkan kesemua yang ada di sebelah inlet dan yang sebelah outlet, sebelah kanan ini juga kita kumpulkan berapa outlet yang kita akan ada. But in this case, they have a single outlet. Therefore, here m dot 3. Okay, that's for the case of multiple. For the single stream or single inlet and outlet, the mass balance equation is very simple. M dot 1 or m dot inlet equal to m dot 2 or m dot outlet. Okay, so from this mass balance equation, we can write in term of rho VA. Sebab tadi kan kita belajar mass flow rate. Mass flow rate is density times velocity times cross sectional area. So now the equation of mass balance can be written as rho VA lah. Okay, and then in open system they have another new property which is flow work. Flow work is the work required to push the mass entering and leaving the system. Okay, so in order to make the mass enter or leave the system, we need to have a force. Kalau ada force and then ada distance, situ akan ada kerja. Okay, they have work there. If we have force and distance, then of course they have a work. This work is necessary for maintaining a continuous flow through a control volume. Kalau tak ada force, then tak ada berterusan lah aliran fluid itu tidak akan berterusan. But if we have flow work or force, then the fluid flows continuously. Okay. This is how the flow works looks like. Okay. Dalam closed system, we have also work what we call as boundary work. Boundary work ni kerja yang disebabkan oleh boundary. Yang case open system ni kerja yang disebabkan oleh fluid. Okay, mana fluid yang di belakang tolak fluid yang di depan. Okay, next. This is the first part of our equation, what we call as a mass balance equation ataupun conservation of mass principle. Second part for our equation, it is energy balance. So we need to consider energy balance, energy conservation of energy, because we know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed from one point to another point, from one form to another form. That's why the knowledge come up with this energy conservation principle. Okay, so untuk non-flowing fluid ini adalah berkaitan dengan closed system. Closed system, the topic that we learn in chapter number 3 is non-flowing fluid. Non-flowing fluid, because the fluid is not flowing. Dia static di dalam. But for open system, the fluid is flowing. That's why it is categorized into two. This part is for closed system. Dalam closed system pun kita dah belajar kan, total energy for closed system. It consists of internal energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy. But for second category, flowing fluid or open system, because open system the fluid is flowing, okay, that is the reason why the total energy equation is categorized into two. Sebab kita ada dua jenis fluid, yang bergerak dan yang tidak bergerak. Open system fluidnya bergerak, so that's why for the second category of total energy, which is flowing fluid case, theta is the symbol of total energy. Okay, dia sama je macam ni, simbolnya sama, simbol je berbeza tapi maksud sama, total energy. So equal to PV, which is flow energy. Tadi kan kita baru tengok di slide sebelum ini, flow energy tambah dengan U, kinetic energy and potential energy. So if you compare both non-flowing and fluid, non-flowing and flowing, the difference is only at here, flow energy. Sebab cecair, liquid ataupun fluid, cecair dia mengalir. So cecair sebelum menolak cecair selepas masuk ke dalam atau keluar. Tapi untuk non-flowing, cecair tidak menolak, dia tidak menolak masuk atau keluar sebab mass cannot be transferred in and out. Mass static dalam sistem tersebut, untuk closed system. But for open system, mass is transferred in and out of the system. That's why kita ada flow energy. Okay, itu sahaja bezanya. So now we have considered total energy for flowing fluid is a combination of flow energy, internal energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy. So this the last three part, U plus kinetic energy plus potential energy, is actually E di sini. Kan dia sama kan, internal energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. So theta ni can be written as equal to PV tambah E. Nampak tak? So yang ni, this one, tiga yang terakhir ni sebenarnya adalah E. Okay. The total energy consists of 3 parts for non-flowing fluid and 4 parts for a flowing fluid. Okay, so yang inilah yang saya nak cuba sampaikan tadi. E itu adalah internal energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. This is for non-flowing, for closed system. Total energy for closed system. The fluid possesses an additional form of energy, the flow energy. Yang ini untuk this case, chapter 4, flowing fluid or open system. Okay. So for open system, the total energy theta equal to flow work plus E tadi. Sebab E ni adalah internal energy, kinetic energy and potential energy. Okay. So I hope you are clear with my explanation here. Okay. So from this equation, we have learned before this in chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken, a combination of U and PV is actually enthalpy. Okay, enthalpy. So enthalpy tambah KE tambah PE. So we can simplify as this. Theta, total energy, equal to H plus KE plus PE. H is enthalpy. If you look back at your lecture note, chapter number 3, chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 2 or chapter 3, I forgot. A combination, enthalpy is a combination of internal energy and PV. Okay. So we can rewrite the energy balance as this one. Okay. E dot in, yang ini sebenarnya asalnya, this one, asalnya adalah E dot in minus E dot out equal to delta E dot CV. So we need to consider lah kesemuanya. This work represent everything but the flow work, but not the flow work. Okay. The flow work is included in the enthalpy term tadi yang PV tadi. That is flow work dalam di sini. Okay. So energy transported by mass. So as I said at the early of this session, mass is transferred in and out. So mass menolak mass selepas masuk ke dalam. So if in order to make the fluid entering or leaving the system, they need to have force untuk tolak masuk dan keluar dari sistem. And then they, of course, they have a distance, kan? Distance, jarak. So if we have force and distance, of course, they have an energy, a work. Okay, so that's why for open system, we need to consider another energy, which is called energy transported by mass. Tadi kan ada energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, heat. Heat adalah salah satu energy. Work, W, work in and work out, also one of the energy types. And then another one is energy transported by mass. Okay, sebab mass keluar dan masuk. At the early of this slide, if you look at the early of this slide, okay, this one, okay, this one, they have three parameters. No, sorry. They have three. Okay. Q, heat is one of the energy. W, also one of the energy. And then they have mass that can be transferred in and out. Since mass can be transferred in and out, so we need to analyze another energy that bring the mass enter and leaving the system. Mass mestilah ada energinya. Untuk memasukkan mass ke dalam sistem ataupun mengeluarkan mass daripada sistem, kita perlukan energy. Dia tak boleh masuk tanpa ada support, tanpa ada force. Kan? So perlu ada force yang menolak mass masuk dan keluar daripada sistem. Bila ada force, mesti ada distance. Betul tak? So if we combine force and distance, kita akan dapat kerja. Kerja tu adalah salah satu energy. That's why they have energy transported by mass. Daripada situlah datangnya energy transported by mass. Sebab nak masukkan mass ni ke dalam sistem dan nak mengeluarkan mass daripada sistem. Yang Q and W ni memang ada dalam closed system pun ada, dalam open system pun ada Q and W. Okay. So now let's look at the definition of energy transported by mass. Okay. Then the amount of energy transported by mass is m mass equal to m times theta. Theta ni yang tadi yang kita belajar tadi, H, kinetic energy dan juga potential energy. Ini semua adalah apa tadi, non-flowing fluid mass. Total energy of flowing fluid. Flowing fluid ni maknanya cecair yang mengalir. Dalam H ada flow work, ada internal energy of the mass. This one, kinetic energy, is the kinetic energy of the mass. Sebab mass, bila dia bergerak, mestilah ada hal laju, right? Potential energy, kita perlu considerkan juga. Mungkin masuknya daripada level bawah, keluarnya level atas. That's why potential energy need to be considered as well. Tapi semua ni ni adalah standard. Okay, standard perkara yang kita perlu pertimbangkan untuk open system. We need to consider enthalpy, where it consists of internal energy of the mass, flow work, and then this is kinetic energy of the mass, and the last one is potential energy of the mass. Okay. Next, energy analysis of steady flow system. Okay. Ini yang berkaitan dengan steady flow. As what I explained at the early of this session, they have two processes for open system: steady flow and unsteady flow. But for our level, thermodynamics, since this course is basic thermodynamics, we assume all of the processes occur in open system is steady flow. Okay. So process during which a fluid flows through a control volume steadily. Steady means no change with time. So the change of total energy, the rate of total energy, delta E dot CV equal to 0. Dan juga this one, delta M dot CV equal to 0. This delta dot MCV is the total, the change of total mass. Tadi kan kita belajar M dot in minus M dot out equal to delta M dot CV. So since delta M dot CV equal to 0, M dot 1 equal to M dot 2, which is energy balance equation, right? Yang ni pun sama. This one is total, the change of total energy, the change of the rate of delta E dot CV equal to 0. Yang inilah, mana tadi? This one. This one. Since this one is equal to 0 for steady flow, kita boleh susunlah equation ni. Dia akan jadi E dot in equal to E dot out. That's what we did in our tutorial session yesterday and on Tuesday, last Tuesday. Berdasarkan hukum di sini, steady flow. Kalau steady flow, delta ni semuanya kosong. Okay. So, as a conclusion, in open system, basically they have two considerations. equations that we need to consider. The first one is mass balance, second is energy balance. Mass balance tadi yang kita belajar lah. Okay, this one. And energy balance this one. E dot in equal to E dot out. E dot in minus E dot out equal to delta E system over T. Okay, since the process for open system T flow process, so the rate of change ataupun the change of energy, rate of energy here is equal to 0. Yang tadilah slide sebelum ni, this one kan, this is equal to 0. So therefore the energy balance equation become as E dot in equal to T dot out. So E dot in ni kita ada heat that transferred in, work done on the system W dot in, dan ini adalah apa? Ini adalah energy transported by mass. Okay, energy transported by mass untuk inlet. On the right side, this one E dot out, they have heat transferred out of the system, work done by the system W dot out, kerja yang dihasilkan oleh sistem, dan ini adalah transported by mass at the inlet. Tadi kan kita ada this slide, right? Yang mana ni? This one. Okay, our system they have 3 properties that can be transferred in and out for open system. Q boleh keluar masuk, W pun juga boleh keluar masuk, serta mass juga boleh keluar masuk. So ketiga-tiganya membawa tenaga, energy. That's why in our energy balance equation here, mana dia? This one kan. So in this slide, the energy balance equation, energy balance ni maknanya kiri dan kanan sama, dia sama lah. E dot in equal to E dot out. So we need to put all of the energy for in. Rate of energy transferred in by heat Q, by work W, and by mass. By mass yang tadi yang kita belajar. Dot theta. This is theta, right? Theta. Ni untuk inlet. And then we have to put to write for the outlet as well, for the exit. In heat Q, work W, and this is m dot theta. This is theta, m dot. Okay. I hope you are clear right now. Steady state, steady flow for one entrance and one exit. Ini untuk case single inlet and single outlet. The energy balance equation dan juga mass balance equation. You can have a look at this. Okay, last one, yang ni nozzle. Sorry, not nozzle. The devices. They have 2 category of devices. The first category, nozzle, diffuser, throttling valve, turbine, and compressor, have a single inlet and a single outlet. For the second category, mixing chamber and heat exchanger, they have multiple inlet or outlets. Ini yang telah saya terangkan lah dalam video saya minggu lepas. But unfortunately, the video static at this slide, sedangkan saya terangkan slide-slide yang lain tanpa merubahkan. So I hope when you see my video, please have your lecture note in your hand so that kamu boleh go through the explanation. Okay, dan ini juga kita telah bincangkan di dalam tutorial semalam. Kita ambil nozzle dan juga turbine, right? Nozzle and turbine, they have single inlet and single outlet. Okay, so basically this is the energy balance equation lah. Dia susun bentuk begini, so jangan keliru. Kamu juga boleh susun dalam bentuk begini, energy balance equation. So kalau kamu tanya saya, sir, which one should we write uh, this equation, this kind of equation yang panjang ni, or we need to write as this? If you ask me, I will advise you to write this one. This is very clear. At the left side is for the inlet. They have heat for inlet, work for inlet, and energy transported by mass for the inlet. And on the right side, they also have for heat, work, and mass. So kalau saya, kalau you tanya saya, I prefer to write this one. It's very clear compared to this one. Compared to this equation, it's quite confusing because Q dot apa? W dot, what kind of W dot? Tapi if you understand very well the energy balance equation, then you know this Q dot is actually Q dot in minus Q dot out. And this W dot is actually W dot out minus W dot in. Okay, so for some student, they will get confusing lah if they look at this kind of equations. So for you, I advise to write this one, energy balance equation. This is very simple. You know, this is in, and on the right side, this is for outlet. Okay. So from our energy balance equation, we can simplify it based on the devices. That's what we did in tutorial. Saya terangkan dalam tutorial. We can cancel some of the properties based on the problem given, as well as based on the devices. Once you simplify the equations, then you can answer solve the problem. Okay, nozzle and diffuser, you have to know the definition first before you analyze the problems. You need to understand the function of the devices. Contoh nozzle, it is used to increase the velocity. Diffuser to reduce the velocity. Itu fungsinya. It's not used for producing work or using work. So then W tu kita boleh cancel lah. Sebab nozzle and diffuser is nothing about work. Dia tak ada kaitan apa-apa dengan kerja. So W kita boleh masukkan. Okay, so for example, this is the analysis analysis of the nozzle from mass balance equation. We can get this kind of equation. Sebab apa? Sebab we know that nozzle is used to increase the velocity, kan? So untuk increasekan velocity bermaksud V1, V2 mestilah lebih besar daripada V1. Fungsi nozzle tingkatkan velocity. That's why V2 mesti lebih besar daripada 1. So macam mana nak dapat ni? Kita gunakan ni balance equation. Dan kita tahu juga pintu masuk nozzle lebih besar daripada pintu keluar nozzle, which means A1 is larger than A2. Kalau diffuser, A1 lebih kecil daripada A2. So from there, we can have this one, A1 is larger than A2. Since A1 is larger than A2, so we know that is larger than V1. Macam mana dapat ni? Daripada sini lah, mass balance equation. M.1 equal to M.2. Okay, so diffuser pun sama. Next, energy balance equation. Kita nak analyze energy balance equation for nozzle. This is what we did in our tutorial. We can cancel the not related properties. Okay, for example, the first consideration dalam lecture note pun, dalam lecture video pun ada saya terangkan. They have 4 consideration that we need to consider in order to analyze each device. For example, untuk nozzle ni, is there work in this system? No. Okay, no work in this system because nozzle is used to increase the velocity. So no, is not work is not related. So you can cancel W in and W out as well. So both W in and out can be cancelled. No. And then second consideration is there heat transfer. Let us say no. Let us say no means that it's based on the problem given. Kalau dalam problem tidak diberitahu ataupun dia menyebutkan a diabetic nozzle, then Q is not related lah. Okay. Tapi kalau diberikan Q out contohnya, so you kekalkan Q out, you cancelkan Q in. So it's depend on the problem. It's depend on the problem. In fact, ada tertulis di situ. It depends on the problem. So you need to read the problem properly lah. Okay. And then third consideration, does the fluid change elevation? Yes, of course not. Nozzle dia horizontal. Okay, kedudukannya horizontal. So inlet and outlet at the same place, at the same level. At the same level. That's why potential energy can be cancelled. No. Okay, cancel lah. Third, for consideration, ni lah apa, yang does the velocity change? Yes, of course lah. Sebab nozzle, the function of the nozzle to increase the velocity. That's why kinetic energy remain. We keep remain kinetic energy here. Okay, itu kaedahnya lah. Bagaimana kita menganalisis sebuah device. Okay, sama juga untuk turbine and compressor. You have to know the meaning, the function of the devices. For example, turbine is used to produce work, and then compressor increase the pressure by adding work. Soalnya dia perlukan kerja. Compressor perlukan kerja untuk melakukan sesuatu. That is compressor. Turbine produce work. So dalam kepala kita dah tahu W mesti ada. Turbine W out mesti ada, W in tak ada. Compressor W out ada, W in ada. Okay, ini contoh turbine dan juga ni. So we can proceed to the consideration after we know the function of the device. Then we go for the considerations here. Is there work in the system? Yes. Turbine kekalkan W out, mansuhkan cancel W in. Compressor, you cancel W out, but you keep W dot in. Is there heat transfer? This is based on the problem. Basically, turbine and compressor is an adiabatic system. Adiabatic maksudnya heat cannot be transferred in and out. Tapi ada juga kadang-kadang problem yang diberikan, mereka memberikan heat transfer. So you need to read the problem properly. Okay. Does the fluid change elevation? No, dia tak berkaitan dengan apa ni, elevation change. So potential energy for turbines and compressor can be cancelled both. Does the kinetic energy change? Usually it can be ignored. Ignored ni you can cancel lah kinetic energy. Sebab turbine dan compressor bukan tugasnya bukan untuk meningkatkan velocity. Okay, but as I said, anything you need to read the problem properly. If velocity are given for turbines and compressor, then you need to consider it. You need to consider the kinetic energy. Tapi ini contoh. Usually it can be ignored, but it depends on the problem. You need to write. You need to read the problem properly in order to do this analysis, this kind of analysis. Ini dipanggil analysis. You consider one by one, and then you can cancel the not related, or you keep remain the relevant property. Okay, so throttling valve pun sama, mixing chamber, okay, and heat exchanger. Okay, so I think that's all for today. saya buka pada sesi soal dan jawab, question and answer session. If you have anything to ask, please proceed for the question, or you can write your question in chat box. Ada? Yes, silakan. Yang mana? Which one? Soalan slide yang mana? Energy balance equation ke? Yang ini? Wait. Which one? V ni ke? This V. This is velocity. V besar. This one. This is velocity not bukan specific volume. This is velocity. This is enthalpy. This one is kinetic energy. So kinetic energy, this V must be velocity. Okay. Untuk yang ini pula, for this case, this is rho. Rho is density. This is V. This one is velocity. Okay. A is cross-sectional area. Okay. Jawab ke soalan? Adakah saya menjawab soalan kamu? Okay, good. Yang lain ada tak?
Doktor, saya nak tanya yang tentang final exam punya tarikh. Yang tu dalam SMP dia tulis 17. Tapi kita ada mock examination. So kalau macam ni, macam mana
Dalam SMP tulis 17 Januari ke?
Kalau tak silap.
And then 17 Januari you ada exam lain?
Yang tu mock. Kita ada daftar untuk sesi 3.
Oh, I see, mock. Is it clash? The time is clash or not?
Yes, it is in the morning.
Both in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Don't worry, because the exact date and time for your final examination is not confirmed yet. Maybe they have some changing after this. Don't worry. But of course, the university will not make your final examination clash with other examination, especially MUET lah. So don't worry.
Okay.
Apa-apa pun nanti I will keep in touch with you after this.
Okay, sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ada question? Ada apa-apa soalan lain? Okay. So kalau tak ada, kita akan stop di sini. After this, I will share with you a video, two videos about chapter number 5. So please please look at those video and learn from there. Chapter number 5. Next week we will have quiz number 3 and quiz number 4. Quiz number 3 focus on chapter number 4, open system, and quiz number 4 will focus on chapter number 5. Chapter number 5 is the second law of thermodynamics. So kita akan buat quiz lah hari Jumaat minggu hadapan. Sama jugalah pukul 9 ke atas. Okay, so Itu pesan saya. Kemudian next week we will have a tutorial. The tutorial will I will focus on chapter number 5 lah. Tutorial 5 next week. Okay, so please learn from the video for chapter number 5 and try to do 1 or 2 question from tutorial number 5. Okay, so itu sahaja daripada saya untuk hari ini. I will see you next week insyaAllah on Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.